Hello, friends. You find me here today in front of Daniel Boone's home just outside of St. Louis, Missouri. I was just kind of checking out the sights and everything and thought I'd do a quick vlog. But before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and just try to get on the main road here. You know, you come across here and sometimes because you're out in the rural area, people may come driving by pretty quick, so I'm just gonna make sure I get on the main road here pretty quick, so hold with me just one moment. Okay, let me start by asking you a question. What is your ideal motorcycle trip? If money and time were no object, where would you go? For me personally, I don't know if I could choose just one. I have several dreams that I'd actually follow. One of them is I'd love to ride with with a lot of my friends from around the world. Not just people that I've known for years, but people I've met right here on YouTube, people I follow and people who follow me, because there's just some incredible content creators and vloggers that are out there right now, and it's just fascinating. I love to ride with each and every one of you. Some of them I think of right off the bat are NC Stoney and the Best 1A. These guys have a passion for riding, and they ride right around North Carolina and Virginia area. And I'd love to meet these guys and ride with them sometime. Not to mention Blue Bike and Doyle and Mrs. Moto. Very humorous channels, very entertaining individuals. And again, I'd love to ride with them sometime. I think it would be funny. There'd be a lot of adventure to it, and definitely a lot of laughs. So they'd be fun. And then there are also others. I think about Motorcycle Mama and Harley Girl 75 out of Oklahoma. These are two content creators that have a passion for riding motorcycles, and their spouses seem to share that passion with them, and it seems like it'd just be a lot of fun to ride with them, talk motorcycles, talk life. I'd always be up for that. And there's also another gentleman out of Nebraska, a gentleman named Greg Noosh, who is just provides these fantastic kind of mini documentaries on his weekends only trips, his guys only weekends, where he and several of his friends and family will get out one weekend and they'll just take their bikes out and ride. They're very entertaining, and I'd highly recommend his channel too. And Greg, in case you're watching, I'm still waiting for your 2018 version of that guy's weekends only trip. And I'm very excited and can't wait to see it. And I'd even like to go to Australia to ride with Kiwi riders and several of the other people I follow there. New Zealand, it'd be great. I'd probably like to ride with several of everyone over there. And this isn't an only group here. I would love to ride with anybody that I follow or that follow me. It's just these are the ones I think of right off the bat as I'm just kind of talking through this now. But all things aside about the people I'd ride with, some of the areas I'd love to go to. I think about taking a several month long journey across the United States. I'd enjoy riding Route 1 in California from north to south or south to north, riding along the Pacific Highway, riding along the Pacific Ocean. I'd also think about riding along a scenic highway along the Atlantic Ocean, along New York, Maine, or New York, Massachusetts, all the way up to Maine, somewhere around there. That would be fun. And I'd like to go a lot of places in between. I'd love to take more of a trip around Route 66. I have the advantage while living in St. Louis, Missouri, or in the St. Louis, Missouri vicinity. I have the luck of being able to go up and down my section of that road. So I'll go through Illinois. I've gone through a good chunk of Missouri, but I've never explored the Oklahoma or other portions of the road that take you all the way up to Santa Barbara. So I always thought it would be fun to go from Chicago to Santa Barbara on Route 66, document it, do filming of it, and just have fun with it from point to point. Who knows, maybe someday that one will be a reality. But I also would like to tour the mountains of Tennessee and North Carolina and Virginia. I think specifically of the Blue Ridge Parkway, and some of those areas. I'm not so much interested in the Dragon. It'd be cool, but I'm more interested in just taking those roads that let me get in touch with nature, get up in the mountains and see those scenic views. I'd like to go to Cape Cod. I've been there, and I've been there I think a couple times, but I've never been there by motorcycle, and I'd love to do that. I'd love to go to South Dakota. I think South Dakota would be a lot of fun. And I know I'm missing a lot of other places in the U.S. since there's so much here to see, but those again are just ones that come to mind at the moment. A third thing I'd like to do is I would love, and I mean this may be one of the biggest passions I have, I would enjoy going across Europe, taking whatever it takes to go through the UK and look around the UK and see England, Britain, England, be able to go up, see Scotland, Ireland. The people I've met here in the States, when I met them, they're wonderful people that have come here that I've met from those areas. And what I've seen on television, what I've seen in documentaries, studied in history, and what they've said about their homeland makes me want to go there all the more and ride a motorcycle. I'd also want to go back to France. I've been to France before. I've been to Paris. I've been to Versailles. I've been to the countryside, and I told myself at one time, someday I'll come back and I will ride a motorcycle there. It's just fantastic, and I'd love to experience the sights, the sounds, and the smells that you only get if you ride on a motorcycle or a bicycle. So I'd love to go back there and go through Paris again and so forth. I'd like to go to Switzerland then and be able to ride through Switzerland and Austria and go through the Swiss Alps and see some of the more fascinating scenery and some of the lovely settings from some of the movies I've seen, as well as some of the things I know that were inspired by those great countries and some of the specific background and regions and the scenic beauty that's there. When I'm not doing that, I go through Spain. Spain's always been interesting to me. Never been there, but I'd love to go there, and I'd love to go by motorcycle where I can take my time and really get into it. And then there's Italy. I've been to Italy before as well, but again, I was there before, and I told myself, when I go back, and the emphasis of it was when, I want to get on a motorcycle and ride some of those areas. I could go there, use Florence as my base again, and take a motorcycle, ride it north to Venice and experience the countryside of Italy. I could ride it south to Rome and experience that and experience everything in between. I just think there's so many things that we miss by driving in a car or taking a train, that if we were just in a motorcycle or our own vehicle, that we could stop and really enjoy. And those are things I would absolutely love to do. So I think about those often. And it's not just the joy of the trip. It's not just getting on the bike and riding, but it's everything you do with it. The planning, the idea of where you're going to go, how you're going to get there, the route, to what am I going to take, to even the bike selection. those are things I often think of and I want to do. You know, one of my favorite films that captures my excitement the most is a movie called The Long Way Round with Ewan McGregor and Charlie Boorman. It goes over the planning, the travel, and experiences, and the enthusiasm is just incredible. I mean, wow! It's really one of my favorite films that documents the passion that I think I would experience taking a trip like that. But again, this is a dream because because like everyone here that's listening to this, money is not infinite and time is not infinite. So I try to get things in pieces as I will and piecemeal them, which I will be doing. So anyway, you've heard me ramble. Let me ask you now the same question. What is your ideal journey? Again, if money didn't matter, if time didn't matter, and all the requirement you had was a motorcycle, where would you go? And how long would you spend? Just let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, thanks, friends.